Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be looking at extreme slow motion. Now normally when you shoot with 60 frames per second, you can only slow your clip down by about 40%. But in this case, I'm slowing it down to 5%, sometimes 3%. And I'll show you how. But first, let's check out what you can create with this. So that was pretty awesome, guys. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, smash that like button and click that subscribe button because I'm going to be making some more stuff in the future. To do this effect, it's actually fairly simple. You have to have a camera that shoots at 60 frames per second. The clips that we're going to be using today were all shot in 4K at 60 frames per second. This effect will only work if you have a 60 frame per second camera. You can try it out with 30 frames per second, but it probably won't work the best. This is the same technique that I used to create my smooth slow motion video. However, I'm just pushing it a little bit further. You'll have to notice that you can only use clips where there isn't a lot of motion. And it's going to be hard to explain, but I hope by the end of this video you're going to understand. When I have a clip that I want to slow down, I slowly scrub through it and see what part of the clip has less motion. So like right here, there's a lot of motion, but earlier in the clip, there's not so much motion. So I'm going to use this clip starting right there. So I'm just going to hit C on the keyboard, make a cut, and then I'm going to scrub forward a little bit to where I want the clip to end, like that. Now remember, we're going to slow this down so much so we can delete the other videos. And now we have this clip right here. If we just play it back, you'll see that it's so fast. It's like extremely fast. But all we have to do is right click on it, go to speed and duration. So if you shot something at 60 frames per second, the max you could go down without any clipping would be 40%. And this would play back completely fine, but as you can see, it's not slow enough. So what we're going to do is go back into speed and duration and change it to 5%. We're going to make sure that under the time interpolation, Optical Flow is selected. Optical Flow will basically analyze each one of the frames, and whenever the frame jumps, like right here, it'll paint all of the individual frames between the jumped frames. If we play this back right now, you'll see that it's actually really stuttery and not smooth at all. So the only thing you have to do is click X on your keyboard when you're highlighted over these things to highlight everything in that clip and go to sequence and go to render into out. This will pretty much render that video preview so you can see what it's going to look like when you export this video. So now if you look, our video is actually playing back in super slow motion. So I'm going to do another one really quick so you can see what is going to go on, and then I'll show you an example of what not to do. So the next clip we have is this little clip of my friend Brenna walking right here. As you can see, we won't be able to use it when she's blinking, because if we use it when she's blinking, that's just too much motion. So let's keep scrubbing through. That's nice. Okay, she's smiling at the end, too much motion. So I'm going to stick closer to the beginning, and I think right about here is when I want to start. And I'll play forward a little bit, and I'll probably just go to right there. Now remember, since you are slowing it down so much, you can use a short clip just like this. So all we have to do is right click on the clip, go to speed and duration, change your speed to anywhere around 5%. You can mess around with 10%, 5%, 3%, and make sure Optical Flow is selected. Click OK. All we have to do is drag our playhead over the clip and click on X. That will set an in point and an out point to our entire clip, and then go to sequence, render into out. As you can see, I already rendered it, so this is what it's going to look like. So this clip is actually a great example. If you look at it from afar, it doesn't look too bad. However, let's analyze this a little bit further. You can see right away in Brenna's eyes that there's no motion, but as soon as she starts to move up, there's a little bit of banding right there. It's such a minute amount that it doesn't really matter. So when you edit it into your sequence and add a color grade, you won't really notice it that much. But that's just one caveat of using Optical Flow. And I'm going to get into when not to use Optical Flow. As you can see in this video right here, there is a lot of motion. However, if I were to take that down to 5%, and make sure Optical Flow is selected, and say I wanted to render out the beginning of the clip just to see what it's going to look like, I would click I on my keyboard to set an in point, and then click O to set an out point, and then simply go to sequence and then click render into out. That'll render just my selected area. So now looking at this playback, you'll see that there's a lot of artifacting and weird stuff happening, and that's just basically because there's too much motion for optical flow. However, this is a good video because you can see that anything where there's less motion, it is so smooth, like right over here by the jean jacket and the hand, especially with the nails in the sun. You can kind of start to see what will work and what will not work. So like I said, this technique will be completely video dependent. So I'm going to show you another technique to increase the quality of your extreme slow motions. When you apply a slow motion effect onto a clip, it's just kind of stagnant and it becomes very, very slow. So something that I like to do is right click on my clip and click on Nest. And then I'll go up into my effects, and under one of my preset packs that I've created, I have fake camera movements. And under fake camera movements, you can create rotations, you can do scales, and you can even do slides. Check out the fake camera movements video, which I'll link below, and you can download that preset, and basically you can create any form of movement to add to your clip. We're going to zoom in to about 125% and see what that looks like. But make sure we click X on our keyboard and go to Sequence, Render Into Out. And now we can see that our clip has a much more cinematic value to it. I'm going to do one more effect right here. And for this one, I'm going to right click, click on Nest, and I'm going to add a rotation, and I'm going to make a linear, let's see, -5 to 5 degrees. Now remember, if we play this back right away, you'll see that everything's jumping around. If it's jumping around, all we have to do is render it by going to Sequence and Render Into Out. So now playing this back, you can see that we've added a simple rotation onto it, and it just adds that cinematic value. Well, I hope you guys learned something today, and if you did, smash that like button and subscribe, because I'm going to be making some more stuff in the future. I'll see you next time.